and welcome to the Lifestyle Refresh podcast. I'm Stephanie, and I'm so excited to have you here. This is a space where we explore what it really means to live a balanced, healthy, and fulfilled life through fitness, mindfulness, resilience, and everything in between. I created this podcast to share with you my journey, all the ups and downs, and the lessons I've learned along the way. My hope is that it inspires you to show up for yourself no matter where you're starting from. Each episode will dive into topics that will help you refresh your mindset, habits, and lifestyle so that you can step into the best version of yourself. I'm so glad you're here to join me on this journey. Let's get into it. Hey guys, and welcome back to Lifestyle Refresh. I'm really excited about today's episode because it's all about those inner nudges that we get. You know, the ones, that quiet but persistent feeling that we're meant for something more, something different, or maybe it's just something deeply aligned with who we truly are. I like to call it the call. It's that tug in your chest, that whisper of a dream, or that deep knowing that it's time for a change, even if you don't know where it's leading yet. So today we're diving into what it means to follow that call, what it can bring up: fear, resistance, growth, and how we can begin tuning in more often. But first, I want to share a little bit of my own journey with this. I honestly have felt the call with so many things in my life over the years. I feel like the more you start to tune into that, the more you start to receive, right? It's all about perception. But even as the call, as I was younger, like I always had that feeling to be something more. I know I've spoken of that. And I started doing hair, and I've always loved and enjoyed doing hair. But even my clients that have been coming to me for years and years know that I've always said that I was looking for something else because I felt like there was something else. I felt like I had this bigger purpose, this bigger meaning, or something serving in some way. Something that would help me show up more in a way to be able to serve people more. Like I was always, hair is a service, and I always loved that, but I knew there was more to it. So even loving my career and doing what I was doing, I still always felt like I would end up doing something alongside it, that there was something bigger on the other side. Even stopping drinking alcohol, that was a call. I had felt that deeply rooted in me before I even actually was put in the position to make that decision. The call has shown up for me in a lot of various ways in my life. And the more you tune in, like I said, it spiraled. So I always knew, and I listened, I believed, and I listened. And I found training, and I found coaching. I've embraced this whole journey and been so open along the way. And it has answered. When I wanted to start my page, the name Lifestyle Refresh came to me. And it was persistent. I would wake up from dreams about this name and it being important and it being something. And now look at it. I literally just signed and got a business certification license from my town, making my brand, my coaching business, an actual business. It's crazy. In just a couple years, like I listened and I followed. I leaned into it. All because a name just really stuck out to me. And I knew it had to be something. So if it comes up to you and shows up to you in this recurring thought, it's a moment that stops you in your tracks and really pulls you in. Pay attention to those. And it can be anything. It could be your career shift like I had, sobriety journey, for me becoming the coach with the career. But with it comes a lot of fear and resistance, of course. And you're gonna fail. You have to succeed at something, and if you really believe in something and you want something to grow, it's not going to be perfect off the bat. It's your first. Giving it your first shot. It's not going to be perfect. Keep grinding out. Keep giving it your all. You will keep learning. Learn from your mistakes because you're going to fail. Don't let those failures knock you down. Pick yourself back up and learn from them. And then it will start to grow and become something. But you have to stay consistent and you have to keep pushing through that doubt and fear and whatever that resistance is that's holding you back. Usually it's fear of failure. But how do you get the courage to say yes? Pushing through fear is half the battle. And then you got to build yourself up and be confident enough to make that jump, to make that leap, to follow that call, whatever it may be. It always takes a jump or a leap, and it feels scary. And you might not make it the first time, but that's okay. If you want it enough, it's worth it to keep trying. So you have to pull deep and really question yourself. But like I said, the more I think started to lean in more and listen to these calls that I was getting and actually take the action on what this nudging desire kept taunting me with, whatever it was, because it's changed throughout. You know, I feel called to live in certain places. I feel called to visit certain places. Like, there's a reason for that unshakable desire. So you can't let fear get in the way of that. Life's too short to not take that risk. Because if it's going to make you happy, it's so worth it. It's so, so worth it. And yes, I said it a few times, but the more you start to tune in and listen to the call that you're getting and taking the action and following through, the more they're going to keep showing up for you. The universe communicates with us. I know that sounds so crazy and woo woo and whatever, but it does. And the more you start tuning in and believing, the quicker you'll see and realize. That's all I gotta say. Because let me tell you, my life has changed so much since starting to follow these nudges. And even the hard and messy parts. I've been through some shit. Life is not all butterflies and rainbows for me. My life is not perfect from the least bit. But I keep showing up for myself. I keep showing up for my family. And I keep dreaming and trying to inspire. Because once you lose those, what else do you have to look forward to in life? Dreaming and inspiration are huge for living a happy life. I will say too, along these journeys, I didn't always know I was following the call necessarily. Sometimes you only realize in hindsight, after too much time ignoring it and you start to feel out of alignment. I've had times where I've felt stuck or off and you can't figure out why. But that's when we come back to learning to listen to yourself, tune into your inner voice and in your intuition. And once you stop ignoring that inner voice, when you can grow more, you won't feel as stuck. You'll feel inspired. And don't ignore those feelings, because then the call can sometimes, if you get to a point where you're in tune, the call can be felt in your body, your energy, your mental health. Don't ignore that. That is strong. That is something greater pushing you to do something. Don't ignore it. You're meant for more. That's the point of this. We're all meant to keep learning and keep growing. That's why it's like I always say that. Keep learning, keep growing, always learning, always growing. I love it, but it's true. And that's what I said, when you finally listen, you'll see how quickly things start to shift. You will. I've had many different calls over the years. They don't all look the same. Some can be spiritual, some are physical, some are deeply emotional. I've even said even locations I've been felt called to that I really feel the need to go visit, but they're all connected. So start following other ones too. I've the call to heal my gut and body, leading now me to this lifestyle of whole foods and mindfulness. Like the big things that I've made and done lately to follow these recent calls have kind of made massive shifts in my life and truly just are connecting dots to me. Like they're falling in a way that this truly feels like the next step. Like embracing this lifestyle with introducing this diet has been challenging and had it's definitely a lot of like pros and cons too, but it's had a lot of pros and a lot of life changing pros, I feel like. So again, it can look so differently, even going alcohol free, choosing that, but also choosing to be bold enough to talk about it all the time and continuously share it. And I think that in itself is been, it's not just a health choice now, but it's kind of been a full identity shift for me. I look at it so differently, following to that mindset and being bold enough to speak, not even for that. It's teaching me, I feel like all of these tools, look at the way they line up because being bold to talk about that I just said, but also following the call to share my voice, to start this podcast and grow my page and be able to speak to others. Like I had never had this real desire to use that in such a manner, and I do. And it's very funny because I've always been told too, like by healers, that my throat chakra is not good. It's closed. Like, so it's funny to me that I have this burning desire. So I feel like it all connects. I need to, there's a greater purpose, and I'm following that call and trusting that intuition.
Following the call doesn't always mean a complete life overhaul. Sometimes it is as simple as making space to listen. Sometimes it's taking one tiny step in the direction that actually feels aligned with you. But here's the thing, so many of us just ignore that. We let our fear drown it out. We get caught up in the shoulds and the comfort of staying where we are. And I get it. Safety feels safe, but fulfillment, growth, expansion, that's that lives outside the lines. Here are a few blocks that often come up when we start tuning into our call. Like I said, the fear of failure. What if I mess it all up? You're not going to. And if you do, learn from it. Try again with those lessons. And two, imposter syndrome. Who am I to do this? Why would you talk to yourself that way? You would never let your friend talk about themselves that way. So the same we need to have the same upholds for ourselves. And three, fear of judgment. What will they think? Don't worry about that. Think of how amazing it could be if you did it. And 4, the uncertainty. But what if I don't know the next step? You'll learn as you go. That's the beauty in life. Just keep waking up and trying. Enjoy your time here. And to all of that, I say, what if it works out better than you even imagined? What if saying yes to this call is the one thing that leads to your next chapter? The one where you feel more you than ever before. And if you've been feeling that nudge, I've got a few gentle steps to help you start tuning in. First, I want you to create quiet. Whether it's through journaling, you go for a walk, or just trying to turn down the noise for a bit. Sit with yourself and your thoughts. And step 2, start asking yourself, what is pulling at my heart right now? Whether you've already noticed that nudge, start to ask yourself about it. And step 3, I want you to say it out loud. Share your call with someone safe. But please, give it a voice. I'm huge on that. If there's something I want to stand by, I find one of my safe people and I tell them I want to do this. It's accountability. But I also believe if you call something out and you really express it in words, it gives it a voice and it comes back to you in return. And step 4, take one small action. The path will meet you halfway once you start it, but you actually have to take those first steps. So you need to create action and keep this moving forward. I hope today's episode reminded you that your inner voice is worth listening to, that your call is valid, and that you're more than capable of following it, even if you're scared. Don't let fear get in the way. You don't have to know the whole path. You just need to say yes to that next step. As always, thank you so much for being here. If you loved this episode or want to share your story of following your call, send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay true, stay grounded, and keep choosing the path that feels like you.